can take a minute or two. We're live. Hello, Global Bloomsday. This is Radio Bloomsday, broadcasting to you live from Midtown Manhattan at the MNN Studios, Manhattan's public access show and radio station and television station. We'll be broadcasting live tonight, Eastern Standard Time, from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. at wbai.org. For more information, you can visit us live at radiobloomsday.blogspot.com. I am here with actors Tara Bonner-James and Aaron Beall. I'm Caraid O'Brien, and we are going to read the Circe section for you. So here we go, and happy Bloomsday. Lynch.
I hope you gave the good father a penance, 9 glorias, for shooting a bishop.
Zoe sprouts walrus smoke through her nostrils.
Ugh, he couldn't get a connection. Only, sensation, a dry rush.
Bloom.
A poor man.
Zoe, lightly.
Only for what happened to him.
Bloom.
How?
Virag, a diabolical rictus of black luminosity contracting his visage, cranes his scraggy neck forward. He lifts a moon-calf nozzle and howls.
Verfluchtegoyim! He had a father. 40 fathers. He never existed. Pig God. He had 2 left feet. He was Judas Iakia, a Libyan eunuch, the Pope's bastard.
He leans out on tortured forepaws, elbows bent rigid, his eyes agonizing in his flat skull neck, and yelps over the mute world.
A son of a whore! Apocalypse!
Kitty!
And Mary Shorthall, that was in the lock with the pox she got from Jimmy Pigeon in the Blue Caps, had a child off him that couldn't swallow and was smothered with convulsions in the mattress, and we all subscribed for the funeral.
Virag, ague-shaken, profuse yellow spawn foaming over his bony, epileptic lips.
She sewed love philters, white wax, orange flower, panther, the Roman centurion, polluted her with his genitories.
He sticks out a flickering phosphorescent scorpion tongue, his hand on his fork.
Messiah! He burst her tympanium.
With gibbering baboon's cries, he jerks his hip in the cynical spasm. Henry, caressing on his breast a severed female head, murmurs,
Thine heart, my love.
He plucks his lute strings.
When first I saw
Virag, sloughing his skins, his multitudinous plumage molting.
Rats!
He yawns, showing a coal black throat, and closes his jaws by an upward push of his parchment roll.
After having said which I took my departure. Farewell! Fare thee well, Trek.
Henry Flower combs his moustache and beard rapidly with a pocket comb and gives a cow's lick to his hair. Steered by his rapier, he glides to the door, his wild harp slung behind him. Virag reaches the door in 2 ungainly stilt hops, his tail cocked, and deftly claps sideways on a wall a pussy yellow flybill, butting it with his head, the flybill.
K11. Post no bills. Strictly confidential. Dr. High Franks.
Henry.
All is lost now.
Virag unscrews his head in a trice and holds it under his arm. Virag's head.
Quack!
Exeunt severally. Stephen over his shoulder to Zoe.
You would have preferred the fighting parson who founded the Pentecostal era, but beware Antisones, the dog sage, and the last end of Arius Heresychus, the agony of the closet.
Lynch.
All one and the same God to her.
Stephen, devoutly.
And the sovereign Lord of all things.
Florrie to Stephen. I'm sure you're a spoiled priest or a monk. Lynch.
He is a cardinal son.
Stephen.
Cardinal sin, monks of a screw.
His Eminence, Simon Stephen Cardinal Daedalus, primate of all Ireland, appears in the doorway, dressed in red soutane, sandals and socks. 7 dwarf simian acolytes, also in red, cardinal sins, uphold his train, peeping under it. He wears a battered silk hat sideways on his head. His thumbs are stuck in his armpits and his palms outspread. Round his neck hangs a rosary of corks, ending on his breast in a corkscrew cross. Releasing his thumbs, he invokes grace from on high with large wave gestures and proclaims with bloated pomp the Cardinal.
Conservio lies captured. He lies in the lowest dungeon, with manacles and chains around him, weighing upwards of 3 tons.
He looks at all for a moment, his right eye closed tight, his left cheek puffed out. Then, unable to repress his merriment, he rocks to and fro, arms akimbo, and sings with broad, rollicking humour.
Oh, the poor little fellow! Allegro hello, he was slumped in heaven as a snake. He makes the bloody surface against the white cabbage. He murdered Nelvani's chicken and drink.
A multitude of midges swarms white over his robes. He scratches himself with crossed arms at his ribs, grimacing and exclaims,
I'm suffering the agony of the damned. By the holy fiddle. Thanks be to Jesus, those funny little chaps are not unanimous. If they were, they'd walk me off the face of the bloody globe.
His head aslant, he blesses curtly with 4 and middle fingers, imparts the Easter kiss, and double shuffles off comically, swaying his hat from side to side, shrinking quickly to the size of his train bearers. The dwarf acolytes, giggling, peeping, nudging, oogling, Easter kissing, zigzag behind him. His voice is heard mellow from afar, merciful, male, melodious.
Shall carry my heart to thee, shall carry my heart to thee, and the breath of the balmy night shall carry my heart to thee.
The trick door handle turns, the door handle.
Zoe, the devil is in that door.
A male form passes down the creaking staircase and is heard taking the waterproof and hat from the rack. Bloom starts forward involuntarily and, half closing the door as he passes, takes the chocolate from his pocket and offers it nervously to Zoe. Zoe sniffs his hair briskly.
Thank your mother for the rabbits. I'm very fond of what I like.
Bloom, in Svengali's fur overcoat with folded arms and Napoleonic forelock, frowns in ventriloquial exorcism with piercing eagle glance towards the door. Then, rigid with left foot advanced, he makes a swift pass with impelling fingers and gives the sign of pass master, drawing his right arm downward from his left shoulder.
Thanks. Go. Go, go, I conjure you, whoever you are.
A male coffin treader heard passing through the mist outside. Bloom's feature relax. He places a hand in his waistcoat, posing calmly. Zoe offers him chocolate. Bloom, solemnly.
Thanks.
Zoe.
Do as you bid. Here.
A firm heel clacking is heard on the stairs. Bloom takes the chocolate.
Aphrodisiac. Tansy and pennyroyal, but I bought it. Vanilla calms or Mnemo, confused light confuses memory. Red influences lupus. Color affects women's characters, any they have. This black makes me sad. Eat and be merry for tomorrow.
He eats.
Influence taste too. Mauve, but it is so long since I seems new. Afro, that priest must come. Better late than never. Try truffles at Andrews.
The door opens. Bella Cohen, a massive whore mistress, enters. She is dressed in a 3/4 ivory gown. fringed round the hem with tasselled selvage, and cools herself, flirting a black horn fan like Minnie Hawk in Carmen. On her left hand are wedding and keeper rings. Her eyes are deeply carboned. She has a sprouting moustache. Her olive face is heavy, slightly sweated and full-nosed with orange-tailed nostrils. She has a large pendant, beryl eardrops. Bella, my word, I'm all of a muck sweat. She glances around her at the couples. Then her eyes rest on Bloom with hard insistence. Her large fan winnows wind towards her heated face neck, and embonpoint, her falcon eyes glitter, the fan flirting quickly, then slowly.
Married, I see.
Bloom.
Yes, partly. I have mislaid my...
The fan half opening, then closing.
And the missus's master. Petticoat government.
Bloom looks down with a sheepish grin.
That is so.
The fan, folding together, rests against her left eardrop.
Have you forgotten me?
No.
The fan folded akimbo against her waist.
Is me her was you dreamed before? Was then she him you us since knew? Am all them and the same now me?
Bella approaches, gently tapping with the fan, Bloom wincing.
Powerful being, in my eyes read that slumber which women have.
The fan tapping.
We have met. You are mine. It is fate.
Bloom cowed.
Exuberant female, enormously I desiderate your domination. I am exhausted, abandoned, no more young. I stand, so to speak, with an unposted letter bearing the extra regulation fee before the too late box of the General Post Office of human life. The door and window open at right angles cause it to the draft of 32 feet per second according to the law of falling bodies. I have felt the instant twinge of sciatica in my left gluteus muscle. It runs in our family. Poor dear Papa, a widower, was a regular barometer from it. He believed in animal heat. A skin of tabby lined his winter waistcoat. Near the end, remembering King David and the Sunamite, he shared his bed with Athos, faithful after death. A dog's spittle, as you probably know.
He winces. The fan tapping.
All things end. Be mine. Now.
Bloom, undecided.
All now? I should not have parted with my talisman. Rain, exposure of dewfall on the sea rocks, a peccadillo at my time of life. Every phenomena has a natural cause.
The fan points downward slowly.
You may.
Bloom looks downward and perceives her unfastened bootlace.
We are observed.
The fan points downward quickly.
You must.
Bloom with desire, with reluctance.
I can make a true black knot. Learned when I was served my time and worked the mail order line for Kellett's. Experienced hand, every knot says a lot. Let me, in courtesy, I knelt before once today.
Bella raises her gown slightly and, steadying her pose, lifts to the edge of a chair a plump, buskinned hoof and a full pastern, silk-socked. Bloom, stiff-legged aging, bends over her hoof and with gentle fingers draws out and in her laces. Bloom murmurs lovingly.
To be a shoe fitter at Mansfield was my love's young dream. The darling joys of sweet button hooking, to lace up crisscrossing to knee length, the dressy kid footwear satin lined, so incredibly, impossibly small of Clyde Road's ladies, even their wax modeled Raymond. I visited daily to admire her cobweb hose and stick of rhubarb's toe, as worn in Paris.
The hoof.
Smell my hot goat hide, feel my royal weight.
Bloom cross-lacing.
To tight?
The hoof! If you bungle, Handy Andy, I'll kick your football for you.
Bloom!
Not to lace the wrong eyelet as I did the night of my bazaar dance. Bad luck, hooking the wrong tash of her person you mentioned that night she met. Now.
He knots the lace. Bella places her foot on the floor. Bloom raises his head, her heavy face. Her eyes strike him in mid-brow. His eyes grow dull, darker, and pouched. His nose thickens. Bloom mumbles.
Awaiting your further orders, we remain gentlemen.
Bella with a hard basilisk stare in a baritone voice. Hound of dishonor! Bloom, infatuated.
Empress!
Bellow, his heavy cheek chops sagging. Adorer of the adulterous rump. Bloom, plaintively.
Hugeness.
Bellow.
Tongue devourer.
Bloom with sinews semi-flexed.
Magnificence.
Bellow, down. He taps her on the shoulder with his fan. Incline feet forward. Slide left 1 pace back. You will fall. You are falling. On the hands. Down. Bloom, her eyes upturned in the sign of admiration, closing, yaps.
Truffles.
With a piercing epileptic cry, she sinks on all fours, grunting, snuffling, rooting at his feet, then lies shamming dead with eyes shut tight, trembling eyelids bowed upon the ground in the attitude of most excellent master. Bellow, with bobbed hair, purple gills, fat moustache rings round his shaven mouth, in a mountaineer's puttees, green silver button coat, sports skirt, and alpine hat with moorcock's feather, his hands stuck deep in his breeches pocket, places his heel on her neck and grinds it in. Footstool, feel my entire weight. Bow, bond slave, before the throne of your despot's glorious heels, so glistening in their proud erectness. Bloom, enthralled, bleats.
I promise never to disobey.
Bellow laughs loudly. Holy smoke! You little know what's in store for you. I'm the Tata to settle your little lot and break you in. I'll bet Kentucky cocktails all round. I shame it out of you, old son. Cheek me. I dare you. If you do, tremble in anticipation of heel discipline to be inflicted in gym costume. Bloom creeps under the sofa and peers out through the fringe. Zoe widening her slip to screen her.
She's not there.
Bloom closing her eyes.
She's not here.
Florrie hiding her with her gown. She didn't mean it, Mr. Bella. She'll be good, sir. Kitty.
Don't be too hard on her, Mr. Bellow. Sure you won't, ma'am, sir.
Bellow coaxingly. Come, ducky dear. I want a word with you, darling. Just to administer correction. Just a little heart-to-heart talk, sweetie. Bloom puts out her timid head. There's a good girlie now. Bellow grabs her hair violently and drags her forward. I only want to correct you for your own good on a soft, safe spot. How's that tender behind? Oh, ever so gently, pet. Begin to get ready. Bellow, Bloom, fainting.
Don't tear my...
Bellow, savagely. The nose ring, the pliers, the bastinado, the hanging hook, the knout I'll make you kiss while the flutes play like the Nubian slaves of old. You're in for it this time. I'll make you remember me for the balance of your natural life. His forehead veins swollen, his face congested. I shall sit on your ottoman saddleback every morning after my thumping good breakfast of Madison's fat ham rashers and a bottle of Guinness's porter. Blech.
He belches.
And suck my thumping good stock exchange cigar while I read the licensed victualler's gazette. Very possibly, I shall have you slaughtered and skewered in my stables and enjoy a slice of you with crisp crackling from the bacon tin, basted and baked like a suckling pig with rice and lemon or currant sauce. It will hurt you. He twists her arm. Bloom squeals, turning turtle. Bloom.
Don't be cruel, nurse.
Bellow, twisting. Another. Bloom screams.
No, this is hell itself. Every nerve in my body aches like mad.
Bellow shouts. Good. By the rumpin' jumpin' general. That's the best bit of news I heard these 6 weeks. Here, don't keep me waiting, damn you. He slaps her face. Bloom whimpers.
You're after hitting me. I'll tell.
Bellow. Hold him down, girls, till I squat on him. Zoe.
Yes, walk on him, I will.
Florrie.
I will. Don't be greedy.
Kitty.
No, me. Lend him to me.
Bellow squats with a grunt on Bloom's upturned face, puffing cigar smoke, nursing a fat leg. I see Keaton Clay is elected vice chairman of the Richmond Asylum, and by the by, Guinness's preference shares are at 16 3/4. Curse me for a fool that didn't buy that lot Craig and Gardner told me about. Just my infernal luck. Curse it. And that goddamn outsider throwaway at 20-1. He quenches his cigar angrily on Bloom's ear. Where's that goddamn cursed ashtray? Bloom, goaded, buttocks smothered.
Oh, monsters. Cruel one.
Bellow, ask for that every 10 minutes. Beg, pray for it, as you never prayed before. He thrusts out a figged fist and foul cigar. Here, kiss that. Both. Kiss. He throws a leg astride and, pressing with horseman's knees, calls in a hard voice. Gee up! A cock horse to Banbury Cross. I'll ride him for the Eclipse Stakes. He bends sideways and squeezes his mount's testicles roughly, shouting, How? Off we pop! I'll nurse you in the proper fashion. He horse rides cock horse, leaping in the saddle. The lady goes a pace, and the coachman goes a trot, the gentleman goes a gallop. Florrie pulls at Bellow.
Let me on him now. You've had enough. I asked before you.
Zoe pulling at Florrie.
Me. Are you not yet finished with him yet, Suckeress?
Bloom stifling.
Can't.
Bellow. Well, I'm not. Wait. He holds in his breath. Curse it. Here. This bong's about to burst. He uncorks himself behind, then contorting his features, farts stoutly. Take that. He recorks himself. Yes. By jingo, 16 3/4. Bloom, a sweat breaking out over him.
Not man.
He sniffs.
Woman.
Bellow stands up. No more blow hot and cold. What you longed for has come to pass. Henceforth, you are unmanned and mine in earnest. A thing under the yoke. Now, for your punishment frog. You will shed your male garments, you understand, Roby Cohen, and don the shot silk luxuriously rustling over head and shoulders, and quickly, too. Bloom shrinks.
Silk, mistress said. Oh, crinkly, scrappy. Must I touch it with my nails?
Bellow points to his whores. As they are, so now will you be, wigged, singed, perfume sprayed, rice powdered with smooth-shaven armpits. Take measurements will be taken next to your skin. You will be laced with cruel force into vice-like corsets of soft, tough couture with whale-bone busk to the diamond-trimmed pelvis, the absolute outside edge, while your figure, plumper than when at large, will be restrained in net-tight frocks, pretty 2-ounce petticoats and fringes and things stamped, of course, with my house flag, creations of lovely lingerie for Alice and nice scent for Alice. Alice will feel the pull. Martha and Mary will be a little chilly at first in such delicate thigh casing, but the frilly flimsy of lace round your bare knees will remind you, Bloom, charming soubrette with dauby cheeks, mustard hair and large male hands and nose, leering mouth.
I tried her things on only once, a small prank on Hollis Street. When we were hard up, I washed them to save the laundry bill. My own shirts I turned. It was the purest thrift.
Bellow jeers.
Little jobs that make mother pleased, huh? And showed off coquettishly in your domino at the mirror behind closed-drawn blinds, you unskirted thighs and he-goat's udders in various positions of surrender, eh? I have to laugh. That second-hand black opera-top shift and short trunk-leg naughties all split up the stitches at her last rape that Mrs. Miriam Vendrati sold you from the Shelbourne Hotel, eh, Bloom?
Miriam, black, demondane.
Bellow guffaws.
Christ almighty, it's too tickling this. You were a nice-looking Miriam when you clipped off your backgate hairs and lay swooning in the thing across the bed as Mrs. Dundrati, about to be violated by Lieutenant the robust tenor, blue-eyed Bert the lift boy, Henry Fleury of Gordon Bennett fame, Sheridan, the quadroon Croesus, the varsity wet bob, eight from old Trinity Pinto, her splendid Newfoundland and Bob's Dowager Duchess of Manor Hamilton. He guffaws again. Christ, wouldn't it make a Siamese cat laugh? Bloom, her hands and features working.
It was Gerald converted me to be a true corset lover when I was a female impersonator in the high school play. Vice versa. It was dear Gerald. He got that kink. Fascinated by sister stays. Now dearest Gerald uses pinky grease paint and gilds his eyelashes. Cult of the beautiful!
Bellow with wicked glee. Beautiful, give us a breather. When you took your seat with womanish care, lifting your billowy flounces on the smooth worn throne. Bloom.
Science! To compare the various joys we each enjoy!
Earnestly.
And really, it's better the position because often I used to wet the bed.
Bellow, sternly. No insubordination. The sawdust is there in the corner for you. I gave you strict instructions, didn't I? Do it standing, sir. I'll teach you to behave like a gentleman. If I catch a trace on your swaddles, oh! By the ass of the Dorans, you'll find a martinet. The sins of your past are rising against you. Many hundreds. Bellow. Say, what was the most revolting piece of obscenity in all your career of crime? Go the whole hog. Puke it out. Be candid for once.
Mute, inhuman faces throng forward, leering, vanishing, gibbering, blue. Holding up, boot laces a penny, Cassidy's hags, blind stripling, Larry Rhinoceros, the woman, the whore, the other, the... Bloom.
Don't ask me. Our mutual faith, Pleasant Street. I only thought the half of the... I swear on my sacred oath that...
Bellow, answer, repugnant wretch. I insist on knowing. Tell me something to amuse me. Smut, or a bloody good ghost story, or a line of poetry. Quick, 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 quick. Where? How? What time? With how many? I give you just 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, blow.
I recombinated the...
Bellow, get out, you skunk. Hold your tongue. Speak when you're spoken to. Bloom, bows.
Master, mistress, man-tamer.
He lifts his arms, his bangled bracelet falls.
Bellow. By day you will souse and bat our smelling underclothes, and also when we ladies are unwell, and swab our latrines with dress pinned up and dishclout tied to your tail. Won't that be nice? He places a ruby ring on her finger. And there now, with this ring I they own. Say thank you, mistress.
Bloom.
Thank you, mistress.
Bellow, you will make the beds, get my tub ready, empty the piss pots in the different rooms, including old Mrs. Cooks, the Kyo's, Mrs. Kyo's, the cook's, as Sandy one, aye, and rinse the 7 of them well-mined or lap it up like champagne. Ooh! He bares his arm and plunges it elbow deep in Bloom's vulva. There's a fine depth for you. What, boys? That gives you a hard-on? He shoves his arm in a bitter's face. Here, wet that deck and wipe it round. A bitter.
A florin!
The lackey.
Bang!
A voice.
1 and 8 pence too much.
Charles Alberta Marsh.
Must be virgin, good breath, clean.
Bellow gives a rap with his gavel. 2 bar, rock bottom figure, and cheap at the price. 14 hands high, touch and examine she his points. Handle her him, this downy skin, these soft muscles, this tender flesh. If only I had my gold piercer here, and quite easy to milk. 3 new laid gallons a day. A pure stock getter, due to lay within the hour. His sire's milk record was 1,000 gallons of whole milk in 40 weeks. Whoa, my jewel, beg up, whoa! He brands his initial C on Bloom's croup. So, warranted Cohen, what advance on 2 bob, gentlemen? A dark-visaged man in disguised accent.
100 books sterling.
Voices. For the Caliph.
Harun al-Rashid.
Bellow, gaily. Right, let them all come. The scanty, daringly short skirt riding up the knee to show a peep of white pantalette is a potent weapon, and transparent stockings, emerald guarded. Bloom bends his blushing face into his armpit and simpers with forefinger in mouth.
Oh, I know what you're hinting at now.
Bellow, what else are you good for, an impudent thing like you? He stoops and peering, pokes up his fan rudely under the fat suet folds of Bloom's Bellow, changed, eh? Or what, not a writing table where we never wrote? Turn about, sauce for the goose, my gander. Oh, Bloom.
Bellow,
cuttingly. Their heel marks will stamp out the brusselette carpet you bought at Wren's auction. In their horseplay with Moll the Romp to find the buck flea in her breeches, they will deface the little statue you carried home in the rain.
Just a song at twilight when the lights are low and the flickering shadows softly come and go. Though the heart be weary, sad the day and long, still to us at twilight comes love's sweet song, comes love's old sweet song. Even today we hear love's song of yore.